Um, okay, so this question says, Jesus' disciples were young Christians of some sort, and we saw them doing amazing miracles in their time. Jesus even said he saw Satan fall like lightning. But right now, it seems like miracles, signs, and wonders are only done by big pastors with fancy titles. And even the miracles we see, sometimes they seem less than genuine. So bottom line, this person is asking for, where's the burning bush? Where's the ass that spoke to Balaam? Where's the Red Sea experience? Where's the dead rising up? Why can't I, as a young person, do these things? We don't see young Christians doing these kinds of amazing miracles anymore. I wish that we did more of these types of signs and wonders in church. What is the reason for this?
I think the reason for, I slightly disagree with the person. Absolutely. First and foremost, a lot of miracles are still happening in the church, outside of the church, and in the life of people who challenge God by faith in different situations of life. Because the question I'll throw back to the person who wrote this question is, when was the last time you lay hands on the sick? By faith. Trusting the healer to show up, because it's not about you. Because you never know what God will do until you put yourself in certain situations where he has to show up on your behalf. I mean, before I left the church, they played a testimony of a guy who was giving a testimony. I don't know whether I was doing Accelerate or running of service. They said, we're praying for the sick. And I said, deafness in a hair. And I said, put your finger there. And he said he started hearing perfectly. And since then, he has waited. He's still hearing perfectly. So he's just hearing the testimony today. So healings are happening. And in the course of the week, I got a testimony of a lady who said 2 weeks after the Accelerate conference, she really released her faith during the Accelerate conference. 2 weeks after, she got pregnant. She has been waiting on God for 13 years. Yeah. And she's still pregnant as I speak. Yeah. So I can go on and on about testimonies of healing, of restoration, of all kinds of things that God is still doing. The only thing is that when you read through Hebrews 11, the Hall of Fame for faith, you will see different categories of people in that catalog of faith people. Most of them were not preachers. Yeah, starting with Abraham or Joseph or, or Moses or Noah. These weren't preachers. We are the ones that confuse things because of what we refuse to do. So DME came to share his God experience. He's not a preacher. But you heard him talking about him hearing God and taking instruction. Pastor Busola referenced it. I wasn't here. But yeah, you don't have to be a preacher to hear from God. You don't have to be a preacher to lay hands on the sick. You don't have to be a preacher to trust God for your healing and have a testimony. You don't have to be a preacher to be an agent of restoration in somebody's life. Let me tell you where these things are coming from. It is the how do I put it now? Over exaltation of the certain ministry offices. Yeah. And when believers are hung up on the manna mindset, when they're supposed to be looking for how to get into the promised land. There are what I call the wilderness miracles, and there are promised land miracles. They don't look the same.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
In most part of our world today, especially here in Africa and even here in Nigeria, most believers are, hung up on wilderness miracles. What are wilderness miracles? Yeah, manna, water out of the rock, healing, you understand? Protection, all that. Those are wilderness miracles. Promised land miracles, the moment they crossed Gilgal, Jordan, and they stepped in there, manna ceased. It was a land flowing with milk and honey, but you had to cultivate it.
Yes, sir.
So the kind of miracles, real miracles. I was taking a prayer walk last night around midnight, and the Holy Spirit said, look up. And I looked up, and I saw something that looked like an aircraft, but I think it was a star, hanging there, And he said, last week or so, Bezos went to space. So what kind of faith does it require to believe, just like the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, believe that man can fly? Because you guys, you don't know. Jumping on the plane to go to London or Los Angeles or anywhere in the world, and you're going to be suspended in the sky for hours upon hours. It's a breakthrough. It's a lot of faith. It's a lot of, those are promised land miracles. Innovation and creativity, solution. You understand? It's one level to lay hands on the sick and they recover. It's another level to create a solution that will not make you sick again. Or that can heal millions of people at the same time. Yeah. So when we get hung up on wilderness miracles, and we think that's the only sign of divine presence, no. It's much more than that. And you see, it looks to me like the promised land miracles are actually the main inheritance of the children of God. That one is beyond the pulpit. Yeah. It is what you manifest outside of the church. As you till your ground, as you stay in the area of your own calling. I hope you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
As much as I love to be able to pray for somebody with cancer and cancer will dry up, I prefer something that will either eradicate or heal cancer in millions. And we're still researching for it. When you get that, can I tell you the truth? You're more powerful than the person who lays hands on the sick and they recover. Yeah, that's the truth. And pastors are not going to do that. We will just pray. So the real miracles are out there, and it's for you. It's for you. It's for you. It's for all of us. So we start with the wilderness miracles, then we'll move to the promised land miracles. And that one is not an exclusive preserve of any priest, any pastor, any prophet. It's for all of us.